This is Rebecca from Camp Fitness, and today I'm gonna teach you how to squat.
The first step is to walk up to a barbell in a squat rack adjusted at your shoulder height or slightly lower. Grab the bar with both hands with a grip slightly wider than shoulder width. You need to squeeze the muscles in your upper back and make sure that the barbell rests on your trapezius muscles or on your rear delts. This high bar or low bar placement comes down to personal preference, unless you are competing in a sport such as powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting, which dictate the bar placement. Unrack the bar by standing it up, then take as little steps as possible to unrack the bar and take it out of the power cage or squat rack or squat stands, whatever it may be. By keeping your core tight, you need to initiate the movement by pushing your hips back, braking at the hips first, then at the knees, or maybe at the same time. Some forward knee travel is acceptable, but make sure that excessive knee travel does not occur. It will put excessive pressure on your knees. Whether you are a hip dominant or knee dominant squatter, the key here is to squat slightly below your knees or just until your hips break parallel, maybe slightly lower. There is no need to go ass to grass, but make sure that you are at least breaking parallel to go through a fuller range of motion. Instead of creating specific categories for high bar and low bar squatters, here at Camp Fitness we emphasize squatting in your natural stance as far as possible. Any squat form would be acceptable so long as your lumbar spine remains intact and neutral during the movement. You manage to squeeze your glutes and thrust your hips forward while simultaneously pushing with your quadriceps on the ground. To improper motor skills or lack of ankle flexibility, it is common that beginners lean forward excessively and find that their ankles raise off the ground. In order to combat this, they need to learn how to shift their weight slightly backward towards the foot and imagine that all their foot is glued to the ground. A proper squat will have you standing at about shoulder width stance. The most important squat cues are to make sure to shove your knees out to allow you to sit between your legs as you move down. It is very common for beginners to allow their knees to buckle in when they squat. Some degree of buckling in will occur with heavier weights, but this should not be happening on all sets. Also, it's important to keep your torso tight and use your glutes throughout the movement. A common mistake is where beginners allow their traps and upper back to loosen up and their grip to loosen up. This would allow the bar to swing around and move around on their upper back freely. Upper back rigidity and stability, as well as a firm grip on the bar, is necessary. That was the barbell squat, and we are Camp Fitness.